Hey guys!
Hi!
You're listening to Not As We Planned, so get ready for
Honest,
raw, unfiltered, unhinged story,
where we share our advice, opinions,
and talk about all the shit that people avoid discussing. We want to point out we are not qualified professionals, although I feel like I am one.
and what we say is the advice we would give to our besties. Hi guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to Not As We Planned.
Welcome.
Another week. Guys, we've had so many emails this week, so please keep writing them in. Please keep sharing, subscribing, liking, following, showing your support. It honestly helps us so much.
It really does. How's your week been?
It's great. I feel like you probably need to do your catch up first. I feel like it might get emotional.
Oh, shit. Okay. No pressure.
Tash is always full of really exciting ones.
No, to be honest, nothing's really happened this week. However, something that is new for me that I feel like people will probably relate to the emotions that I'm feeling, because when it comes to co-parenting, and something that I have got used to, like it has been 3 years, but sometimes not having that control or accepting not having that control in situations, it's sort of hit me again this week, because their dad has informed me that he's moving.
Oh.
They're staying in the area, but I just feel like I hate not knowing about like I'm like, can I come and view the house? Like I know that if I was moving and he wanted to view it, I'd be like, no. But is it bad for me to feel like it's different for a mum? Like, even just that he's going to be renting and it's a furnished property. So that means like they're not going to have their beds anymore that are at his. He's going to get rid of them. So like they're sleeping in like a bed, like, is he going to change the mattresses? And like, I'm not saying that he's incompetent.
Things that you would think of that he wouldn't.
Yeah, that mother's instinct of thinking of those things. And it's filling me with anxiety. Like, I keep messaging him being like, so has it gone through? Like, are you moving? Like, when are you moving? Like, can I see? Like, he has sent me photos, which I asked for.
It looks okay?
It looks nice. Like, I know that he's not going to move them into some like, shared house where there's some random man on the sofa.
Well, that's positive.
Yeah. Silver lining. There's no random men in there. But I don't know. I feel uncomfortable.
I understand.
And Ivy is she's quite like me, like likes her. Yeah. She likes her home comfort. She doesn't like change. She does get quite like on edge about sleeping in a new place. And I don't know, I want to be there, not like with him, but like I don't want to overstep and be like, are you buying new mattresses? Like, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? I don't know if men think that way. And I don't know. So I'm sure a lot of people can probably relate, but it's just like, I guess it's another new thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you're not really. So other than that, same, boring week. You?
I had a very emotional week. Yeah, I won't lie. I have been in the trenches of just feeling, I felt depressed. I feel like I spent my weekend crying. Hopefully my eyes don't give it away. I had Milo's 4th birthday, and the way the weeks fell, and I'd seen it in the diary for like a while back, and I was like, We'll process that when we get there.
Yeah.
I almost like try and delay it, because otherwise you just end up stressing for longer. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was coming, and yeah, it fell on his weekend. We have an agreement with our childcare order that on the birthday, the other parent can spend like 3 hours with the child, taking them for dinner or whatever. So I knew I had that. But it is not the same as waking up with your child on their birthday. You know, they run into your room with their excited footsteps. They jump in your bed. You do presents, and I woke up and the house was like eerily quiet. Like the silence was deafening. Mm-hmm. And I just sat there and basically spent like an hour crying. Like I feel like you end up spiraling. I was like, how did I get here? How did I get to the point where I'm not spending my child's birthday with him? And I was thinking, where did I go so wrong? And like, I feel like and normally look, this is what I always struggle with in these situations is I am a very positive person, and I'm almost like beating myself up for feeling negative. I was like, hang on, Carly, you're so valid in feeling all these things. Like, no one has a baby or carries a baby ever even contemplating. Like, it's never once gone through my mind that I might not wake up on my child's birthday with him. And
I hope you don't think that's going to happen when he's 17. I'm joking.
fuck?
Come to mummy.
Come here, baby.
But no, I get it.
And I'm quite proud of myself how I handled it, because I feel like I could have made myself really busy. Like people did offer, come with me to do this, come with me. And I was like, do you know what? I think sometimes we avoid feeling those negative emotions so much. And I was like, I'm going to give myself permission today to feel everything.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like I needed that outlet. So I made no plans. I spent the morning crying. I set up his like little birthday balloons and presents for when he was coming back. And then I took myself to the gym, and I really fucking needed that. That really helped me. And I just felt everything I needed to feel. And it was one of the hardest days I think I've done co-parenting wise. Really up. I'd say I actually think I found that harder than Christmas, if I'm being honest. It really, I don't know if as well, because on my last Christmas I was with someone. I had a boyfriend, so I had someone else. But this, I was completely isolated. I was on my own through my own choice. But then I did get to pick him up at 4:00. I took him back to our house. He opened his presents. We went for dinner, and that was amazing. And I did feel like it made me take in those moments more. And then I had to give him back, and it's just really, really difficult. And
Blake and Ivy's birthday falls on a Thursday this year, and they're meant to be waking up with their dad.
And do you know what? I wasn't going to speak about it because I'm always wary when I'm speaking about negative things online. But the amount of I couldn't possibly reply to everyone, but the amount of messages I had, like, I've been through this, I've got this coming, like, I know exactly how you feel. It's just so validating, and it just reminds me why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
And I also had another situation that I can't really delve into, but a similar-ish situation where there was a scenario happening with my children where I had zero control. That coupled with the Milo thing and some other personal things going on in terms of family stuff, I felt like everything was falling apart last week. I literally felt like my life was falling apart last week. And now I'm out the other side, and I've managed to regain some control in an aspect. And I've got through Milo's birthday. I'm like, right, you've done it. You've got through one of the hardest days you thought was going to be the end of the world, and you've done it. And it was shit. It was unpleasant, but you sat in it. You didn't avoid it. You felt it, and you're still here. And I just want anyone listening who knows they've got those dreaded days coming up. They know this year it might be their Christmas without their kids. They're hard, they're horrible, but give yourself permission to feel what you need to feel, and just know that day comes to an end and you'll move forwards, and it's not going to kill you, and it's going to be painful, but you're going to get through it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, on that note, guys, if you're watching, you may see that there's a slightly different setup today, because today we have our very first guest in the studio.
You are not even ready. This woman has personally saved me more times than I probably care to admit. Like, she is a real inspiration. I think for anyone who has gone through anything in terms of separation, co-parenting, anything like that, she is like our guru,
Queen,
our voice of reason. I'm not
sorry,
even
I can just
joking.
see her in the background. She's like
dying. She doesn't realise how much of an impact she has on people. So when Tash and I were writing a list of people we had to have on, and we were both like, we need to have her.
Yeah, we both personally experienced her helping. So yeah, let's bring her
introduce
on.
her. So guys, introducing the very amazing Legally Nick. She is a 40-year-old single mama. She's got 2 kids and a bonus one. She is a lawyer by day, and by night she's a mom. You're a mommy.
She's a mom. I'm a mommy.
Mamacita.
Welcome. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Oh my God. I can't believe it's beautiful.
Thank you so
It's very
much.
pink,
It's
isn't
gorgeous.
it?
Yeah, if you don't like pink,
Gorgeous.
you're not going to like it.
I love it.
Can you do like a little introduction just for anyone who might not be aware of Nick? Where have you been? But a little introduction about what it is you do.
Okay, so I was a child protection lawyer, solicitor for 13, 14 years. And then some life shit went down, and I realised that there's so much information that people need access to that they shouldn't have to just go and pay £350, £450 per hour to get. So I started making a few videos on TikTok, Instagram, and it sort of did
Blew
well.
up.
Wow.
Yeah.
It did well. Just spoke about things that you've been through, I've been through, clients that I've spoken to have been through. I guess I just spoke to the camera and wanted to see who would connect with that. And people connected, and that's very humbling and lovely. And I guess it's led me to do things like this.
Do you know what I think is also really nice? I think that I probably speak for a lot of people, the sort of stuff that you talk about and share that obviously people want to know and want to gain that knowledge, knowing that you've also been vulnerable about that you've gone through it. I feel like it's much easier to connect with someone where you know that they can relate.
I think, so I don't go into details of my specific experiences. And I thought that might hinder me. But the fact that a lot of what I don't say resonates, it speaks volumes.
Yeah. And people
Right.
can connect some dots
Yes.
and make their own,
Yeah.
and link it to their own
I guess in a way, it's almost like we haven't delved, massively into what
same.
we've gone through.
Yeah.
But enough for people to relate.
Connect.
parts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's, again, that was very, just like, when you're in it,
Yeah.
and even just like finding this podcast, I was like, oh my God, there are so many people that are going through it. And I just thought it was just me. So,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, so just feeling like you're helping others whilst you're self-healing and connecting with them has been kind of life-changing.
Yeah, and I feel like that's exactly how we feel about what we do. So I feel like it was almost like we needed someone like you on here. Also, the amount of emails and stories that we get where people are sometimes asking us questions and we don't really feel like we've got that knowledge
You don't.
to give that advice.
No. And then it's really hard. Like, we do always recommend going to follow
do?
your page. But
You
I
do?
remember the first time I came across your page, and I think it was right at the start of everything, at the start of my divorce, and I didn't have the answer to something. And I feel like there was I can't even remember what one it was, and you'd done a reel on it, and I was like,
Wait a minute.
I need to follow this lady. Like, she is speaking to my soul. And I think that's what it is. Like, you're very approachable, and it's just amazing. So if you don't already go and follow her, go and hit the follow button now. She's amazing. But we are going to ask her some questions. So we did put up question boxes on our pages.
We're
Some
a
of
bit
you
mad.
did email in, and wow, you blew us up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have picked some of the ones that we feel like would that kind of serve a lot of you. A lot of you have very, very similar questions. So we're going to delve in. She is an abundance of knowledge. So please, if you're going through anything like this, listen. If you know anyone who could benefit from listening to this episode, you've got a friend going through a divorce, a separation, they're just about to start navigating co-parenting, this is the episode you need to direct them to.
Amen.
Amen.
Let's do it. What's the usual arrangement for separated parents when I'm exclusively breastfeeding? I mean, I don't even know the answer to this, so I
imagine
I'm
there's
intrigued.
some kind of...
Because I was exclusively breastfeeding, but
When you separated?
No, I pretty much waited until
then. And then
Did
you were like,
you?
right, okay.
Yeah, because so I stopped exclusively breastfeeding as he turned 1, and then we separated 4 months later.
Okay.
So it wasn't like in my head where I was like,
mine,
I'm gonna.
mine was similar.
Really, I wasn't like I'm gonna leave him once he can take a bottle, yeah, I'm
okay.
intrigued.
So there's no set precedent or law on this that by this point child should be removed from the breast and be given to the father. I guess with most elements of the legal world, it depends on who you go in front of, right? But generally, a very strong argument can be made that infant to 1, there shouldn't be a removal from a breastfeeding baby. Now, when we get to around 1, the argument starts to get a bit stronger that we should be looking to wean off the boob. What I tend to hear from a lot of mums is that my child still needs the boob at night, still needs it for comfort. Totally get that, experienced it. And this isn't me saying, right, get the baby off the boob, but you need to be looking like, you need to be presenting as if you are working towards coming off.
And if the baby can't, then it's not your fault.
It's not your
Theo,
fault.
I could never get on a bottle.
Hear that?
I tried.
I hear that. I guess at the end of the day, once the baby starts weaning on food, the boob isn't their primary source of sustenance, right? But it starts to become more of a comfort, and that, like, I totally understand that. And nobody's saying that they're going to rip, or they shouldn't be ripping the baby off the boob. But once we get to 1+, we should be facilitating a plan that looks towards.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it?
It is.
It actually blows my mind, because I feel like you hear so much, and like, I obviously can't say too much about my experience in it. But you hear so much about we're going to go with what's in the child's best interest.
Right.
And I do feel like sometimes a lot of it, actually, when you're in front of people, it's not actually, it doesn't feel that way.
I feel like their position for child's best interest is a relationship with both parents. That doesn't mean equal amount of time, but it has to be at that start point that they have access to like reasonable access. Yeah.
So would you say that when it comes to wanting to make sure that both parents have that relationship, that probably overrides the need for being breastfed?
Well, again, it's dependent on the age, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm saying 0 to 1, especially 0 to 6
months,
that's their substance, that's their need.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, there's a strong argument as to why an overnight isn't going to be possible, right? But once I get to like 10, 1+, then their argument starts to get stronger that the baby's starting to wean now. This is now more of a comfort thing. And we're not trying to, torture the child by just doing a strict removal, but we need to be talking about a plan.
So a gradual process.
Yes. And if I've got a mum in front of me that's like, no, not going to happen, we need to strategize. We need to talk. Okay? So it's just about planning.
Yeah.
I know we've got questions, but I just want to quickly ask one thing. Would you say the majority of your clients are women?
Yes.
Do you ever get...
I do speak to, listen, I speak to dads.
I'm just intrigued. Do you get many men?
Yep, I do. I
actually know a man who's spoken to you.
Yes, absolutely. I've spoken to a fair few men. I've supported them. They're good dads. I just predominantly speak to women,
which I'm not surprised about. I was just intrigued if you do get those dads that are like, I really want my kids more.
I feel like if you're a dad that comes to me, you've got your head screwed on.
Yeah,
a couple times I've had to be like,
I can imagine that must be really hard.
But I'll give them. I said, you're not paying me lip service. I'm going to tell you what's what. If you don't like
100%.
it, you go.
Love that.
But they've listened. They have listened. So.
Obviously reached out to you for a reason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. They obviously probably see what you sound
Sometimes
for.
They need knocking down a peg or two, don't they?
Yeah. I just say, like, that's your ego talking. But look, I speak to mums like that sometimes too. Like,
true,
is that your
exactly.
ego? Or is that, like, is it you that's feeling that? Or is that your child? You know what, Nick? Yeah,
I think it's really hard, that thing you've said about the ego. I think particularly as a co-parenting parent, I'm feeling... when you're the default parent and feeling like you know what's best, I've definitely had to quieten my ego a few times and be like, is that actually a thing? Or is that like your ego speak? Like, chill, girl.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you know what I mean?
I've had that, and I feel like I find it really helpful having a boyfriend who also co-parents. Sometimes he'll be my like voice of reason, and I'll sort of have a bit of a blowout, and he's like, I love you, but actually...
see it from here.
Yeah, having a man's point of view about... like, he is the dad as well with his side, and sometimes it does bring me back down to earth to realise sometimes actually I'm not, believe it or not, perfect all the time. So sometimes...
What?
I know, shock horror. But yeah, sometimes you do need to have someone be that voice of reason and sort of bring you back down to earth.
Yeah. I mean, gently. I can hold your hand whilst we do that.
It's hard because I don't think sometimes like it comes from like a negative and malicious place. It comes from a place of like protection, like that maternal like.
Of course.
Instinct.
And it's really hard to take that step back sometimes to be like, what is this actually? And I've definitely got better at that.
This is not what we planned.
Exactly.
So,
no one ever expects this, right?
No.
Nobody wanted this.
No.
So.
Got to make the best of a bad situation.
Right.
Legally, how much does their father, I guess we could switch it around, or mother, the other parent, need to tell me about my baby when she is with him?
legally, so I'm going to be super clinical about this, so you may not like this answer, but legally, just a big ticket item, which is health.
Yeah.
So if a major medical issue happens, immediately needs to be informed. If medication has had to be given, Calpol, something like that, because obviously when the child transfers into the other parent's care, then, you know, that's information that they need to know. So legally, that is the answer.
So what about like if they're at the park and they have a fall?
I mean, yes. So like, that's good co-parenting. Okay, that's good co-parenting. So maybe legally they might not have to provide that.
Fine.
Like if we're going to go proper clinical about it.
Yeah.
But that part of good parenting is, oh, they grazed their knee, we had a fall, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to see that. And why did they do that? Why didn't you tell me? What happened? Was that non-accidental injury? Do I need to call social services? Why do we want to take it to those places and those levels? So communicate.
Yeah, I've had situations like that before where my kids have come back and like Rome's got like a cut on his face. I'm like,
well, where's that?
What's happened? He's like, oh, and then like the kids have actually said like, oh, I did it by mistake. Also, and then I'm like, that's cool, but like, can you just let me know?
But
so
also,
I don't.
Part of that is if he, like your son had a fall in his dad's care, he cut his head. Dad didn't really take much notice of it, but maybe you would take notice of it. Maybe you would take him to the hospital. Maybe you would have him seen for concussion. So those things really should be shared. But
also, it's sometimes like when you open the door and you suddenly see your kid and his face is all like but one time we weren't in a good place and we weren't really talking, and Rome came back and he looked like he'd been in a fight, and I literally said to him,
Milo came back missing half a tooth.
I literally said to him,
I didn't know anything about it.
I almost spoke like,
he hadn't noticed.
you know when you speak through the children,
all that.
So like I said to Rome, like, oh my God, what's happened to your face? You look like you've been in a fight. And his dad was like, obviously he hasn't. And it's like, but I don't want to see my kids.
Yeah.
Warn me.
I think the hardest thing is, look, they've got parental responsibility, and you have to presume that when they're in their care, they're safe, they're being responsible. And I think that is really challenging. I think it's similar to what we said at the beginning of our episode in our catch-up, like that lack of control because you do something a certain way. And I think as well with the co-parenting thing and the miscommunication, you often find, I know I certainly have, that you're parallel parenting and you're not on the same page with how you necessarily navigate things or go about things, whether that's an accident or whatever it is, or even like the attention to noticing those things, because I feel like mothers in particular have that like natural, like, I can notice if like a hair's
straight
out of
away.
place, like you can see the difference, whereas I just don't feel like men don't really notice those things.
And sometimes that's not such a bad thing. Sometimes we
I
can be a bit too much.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
I remember when we first separated, I would literally message him and be like, what did they have for lunch? Did Rome, because Rome was so young, I was like, what time did he nap? Like, how long was his nap? So I know what time to put him down.
Of course.
And it got to a point where I just had to let go of realising, like, no news is good news.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they ate yesterday.
Yeah.
They're here.
Yeah.
They're not going to wear away.
Yeah.
And
as long as
it's letting go.
As long as it's, look, the bar is pretty low in this country for what's expected of parents. It just needs to be good enough parenting. And I think that when you radically accept that as long as they are fed, watered, bathed, spoken to respectfully, you know, when they come back to your care, they're going to get the best of the best.
Yeah.
When they're over there, you sort of need to, it comes with the separation, that they're not going to get what I would expect or I would give them or what I would want for them. But that is their other parent. And I have to accept that that's how they parent during their time. They want to be on the iPad for a few hours, several hours. If they want to eat sweets, if they want to have McDonald's for breakfast, dinner, those aren't safeguarding issues.
You have to accept
I mean,
it.
we've had arguments before about the iPad, about certain games that he's allowed them to have on the iPad, the YouTube, and I know they're not legal things, but
so
it has been that battle of me really doing enough work to accept and let go of what I cannot
I've had
control.
similar with things like even films they're allowed to watch.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
the PG, like
hello,
ratings.
look at what happened with the whole bus situation with my kids, and I just feel like we are not on the same level of maybe what we also perceive as safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like you said. It's I guess accepting that even if it is bare minimum there, as long as they are safe.
Yeah.
And
safe in the clinical legal sense.
Yeah, and not what
because
you
obviously
consider safe.
we have our own
Course.
definitions of what safe is.
I think it's also very hard when the child is so young, and you've got to even think about things like how they're placing their cot. Are they, like I don't want them
car
to
seats
overheat.
For me.
Oh
like,
my God,
so
we're
many
very
people have
different
car seat
on like the
issues.
car seat issue.
So again, is that not a thing legally?
I mean, it's legally...
As long as it's within the standards of a car seat, right?
Exactly. I'll tell you that it should be a thing, and you can present it as a thing, but I can't guarantee that who I'm in front of is going to take it as seriously as they should, because
I know I'm very like anal with like my car seat situation, so I've just made peace with the fact like he's probably more like normal than me, which is fine. But it's even things like we eat like 80% organic in my house, and I've like said, "Oh, have you tried these wraps with the kids?" And he was like, "Oh, no." Like it's things like that. You just have to let go.
Yeah.
So,
I understand that.
Right.
Oh gosh,
next one. This is interesting. I'm interested in this answer.
Oh, so am I, because I've actually shared it before. We've gone back to mediation, although we're divorced.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. Does child maintenance cover uniform, after school activities, and can we confirm what it does actually cover?
Everybody asks this question.
Yeah.
Really?
And it's just...
It's not clear. I've Googled it.
Is it not?
No.
Okay, right. Because it's so clear to me.
But I feel like you live and breathe it. We all need to know the answer
I'm still
to this.
so
am I, because I want to know where I stand.
Child maintenance covers everything in your care, okay? So there's no separate box. There's no separate entity. There's no separate box when it comes to the uniform, clothes, after-school activities, holidays, whatever. Whether you're getting £7.50 a week, whether you're getting £750 a month, it's meant to cover everything, nursery fees, whatever. And that is a hard, bitter ass pill to swallow. And I hear it. And I don't...
Can we cut this bit out?
I was going to say, I hope he doesn't listen.
No, but I'm going to get to the next bit.
Okay.
I'm going to get to the next bit. I know. Trigger warning, absolutely.
Trigger warning, no exes listen.
But this is the difficult part. Unless, but my friend, maybe unless your ex is earning over a certain amount.
What amount?
153,000, 154,000. It's quite a significant amount. At that point, you can then apply through the private family courts, it's a Schedule 1 application, for a top up, and the top up can cover school uniforms. It can cover private school fees, holidays. It could even cover a house.
Wow.
Right. Dependent on the significant difference of your earnings with his. So
it's wild, isn't it?
It needs an overhaul. It needs looking at. It needs, complete readjustment. But when people contact me and they're like, yeah, but I can't afford the nursery fees. Like he's not paying for them. And I'm just like, he doesn't have to pay. And I'm like,
I find it so crazy that they can go to work and earn their money when they don't have their kids certain days of the week. And you as the mother, you have to go and work. So you have to put your kids in childcare, and you're the one paying. So you're not actually taking money home because you're paying for childcare.
Not just that, Carly, but they can choose when they're going to see their kid.
So exactly.
So if I'm not available on a Wednesday. I'm not available on a Thursday, so I can't come. Yeah, but your child needs you, for resources. It's required. No. And nobody can force them. No court, no judge, no order can force them to have contact that you need them to have, or their children need them to have.
But, so legally... That's really fucking interesting.
Yeah.
Not really what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But let's talk about but positive co-parenting. You would expect the father to be like, let's place the child's best interests at heart.
Of course.
Their mum is covering everything else. They're paying for a mortgage. They're feeding my kids. They're looking after them. You'd like to think, here's some money for some uniform. I know that's going to help.
Yeah,
so
but come on, let's also
put them in extracurricular.
Let's also be a bit realistic. If we were actually choosing to separate and divorce from these people. Like there must be a reason.
I know a lot of people who have really amicable splits, and I do sometimes look at them with envy, like the things they do for the mothers of their kids, or vice versa, what they receive. And I'm just like,
you want to avoid going through the formal channels of child maintenance service if you can. Right?
Yes.
So you want to be able to sit down at separation and say, right, let's talk about finances, because you know your man probably wants to save and scribble as much as he can, right? What can you realistically give to me? And also, can we put some pots aside for once a year, September? You know, we know that school's coming. Can you put 100, 150 quid in? Can you put an extra in for the, you know, skiing trip that the kids got or whatever? Yeah. Right? That's the hope. That's the dream. That's where I hope that we can get to.
That's what we're striving.
Yeah. Can I ask, if one of you then lives with another permanently,
yes,
does that change anything with like the CMS or
so my understanding is that it can have an effect to it. The ins and outs of it, I'm not sure.
I know it affects the financial orders if you go down the court route, because you're essentially got a 2-income household versus a
Does it change CMS?
I know that if a father is living with a new partner that has children and he is contributing to their care,
they've got other children,
that can affect the money that you then...
Lowering it. And what happens if it's the other way round and the woman is now living with a man? Does that mean that the amount of money that you get from the father of your children...
My understanding is that's not the same.
No, it's if the father has other children to care for, I know that's when it comes down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not even biological. Cool.
That's a hard
The whole
one.
system's wild, isn't
it?
it?
The whole system.
How do we
the
change
more I learn about it, the more I know. Like, genuinely, I've been thinking I want to start a revolution. Like, sometimes I'm laying in bed like, this needs to change.
I don't think you've got the spare
I'm going
time.
to Downing Street and I'm handcuffing myself until there's
Can you make sure you don't do it on a Thursday?
Okay.
You do your thing on a Wednesday,
But
Tuesday.
you know when you're laying there, you start thinking about things, and I think it's not till you're in those situations or you're like battling some of the things that you're like, this is actually fucked.
Yeah,
like,
it's
this is so unfair. And particularly on the women, like, as well, I think I feel quite passionate today because I'm feeling so overwhelmed with stress, like financially, everything. I'm very much like, this needs fighting for right now. Like, it's fucking wild. And we get so many women like writing in like with these situations, like self-employed men who declare they're barely earning anything. They literally get like £3 a week. It's fucking embarrassing.
It's disgusting. And they're like,
and they have nothing.
Can you do anything to help me? And I'm like, no.
I know. It's just wild.
That must be so frustrating.
So frustrating. So frustrating.
There are a lot of situations that you get.
And that's why sometimes I make these videos where, like, I want to embarrass you. So
I love those videos.
Like, I can't help you, right? But when your ex is scrolling and my reel comes up, I hope you read it. I hope you look at it and you go,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like, going to hit a nerve.
Or I hope you see it on your ex's story.
Reshare.
I'm just like, you're so embarrassing.
That's very eye-opening.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like, I feel like it's going to help a lot of people, sadly.
Just to
my
knowledge, the
understand,
education of it.
Because I typed it into Google and it told me something different. So it's very interesting.
I think also, you probably have a lot of people that are sitting there pushing, fighting for it, not realising that actually what they're fighting for isn't actually, doesn't stand.
Well, like somebody messaged me and asked me the advice, very similar. I gave it to her. Then she put it into ChatGPT. Then she sent me that advice and she was like, but ChatGPT says this. And I was like, yeah, but ChatGPT isn't considering this and this.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
I guess it's different if you're then going through court for financial orders.
That's
you can
different.
get certain things
That's
put
different.
in.
Yeah, because without going
Yeah.
into too much detail, we have agreed certain things.
That's different.
That is completely separate.
That
to
would
what
maybe
you have just
cover
said.
some of those other
Yes,
things. That's
yes,
what,
yes.
That's one thing.
Financial orders in divorces are different. You want to put those things in there. Get advice, get support.
Are financial orders a thing if you're not getting divorced? Or can you make it a thing?
Only under Schedule 1.
Okay, what's that?
So if they're earning over a certain amount of
so
money.
say you're not married.
No.
Fucking hell. I did not even consider that.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. the marriage
Wow.
can
Save you
assist
financially.
you.
I've got to be honest. That's why, like,
I got married.
no, that's why when sometimes people say things to me, like, again, like, maybe I shouldn't say that.
Here she goes again.
I just feel like if you're going into another relationship and you've already got divorced, I'm not saying go into it thinking it's going to end, but be mindful to get married.
Get a ring on that finger, girl.
I just feel like when sometimes
Get your
people are
bag.
like, oh, I don't want to do it again.
Or keep
like,
your finances absolutely separate.
Yeah,
like
or-
just
yes.
be more
or
mindful. I
that,
was not smart
but-
like that.
Yeah.
fine, just marry them if they're rich.
Basically,
It
yeah.
benefits you.
They're all rubbish out there. I can vouch for that. Just go for the rich men. You might as well be miserable with money in your bank.
Yeah, literally.
I'm joking. Right.
Sort of.
Another really good one. Can I change my daughter's surname without permission if there is no court order?
No. My gosh. Like, so this one, people come to me all the time. And they're like, well, I changed my daughter's name. I just went through Depot. They didn't ask me any questions. I know, because they're shit at their job. So legally, I just, it's the truth.
Yeah.
So legally, and you can see it on the gov.uk website, it's out there, right? You have to have permission from all parties that have parental responsibility before you can change your child's name, including adding any part to a name.
Okay, like a double barrel.
Because I know that that's going to come next. Because
What?
everybody
What if
asks.
you get married?
Just
So
like,
no. So like,
So say you wanted to add a double.
I understand. Say
say
yours
it had
weren't-
your husband's name, but you wanted to add.
Your kids
Yeah.
were always double barrel.
So how
weren't
would you
they?
go about it if they don't agree to it?
okay,
Cool.
so obviously you ask them. You might get a solicitor to write them a letter to give them a little nudge. Mediation, specific issues order for court. C100 specific issues.
Is it
order.
normally
friend-
granted?
My friend took her ex to court. She wanted their son to be changed double barrel.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. And she took him to court and she won.
Okay, how old was the child?
Young.
Okay, so
Okay.
right.
See where you're
So again, very much depends on who you go in front of. There isn't a set law about
Why?
this.
How can there
What
not
is-
be a set law?
It's what is in the best interest of the child. It can't just be because I want them to have my
fine.
name. Okay.
I thought it would be in the best interest of the child.
So I present arguments as to why it is in the best interest of the child. And there are several of them.
Can't imagine
But,
why it's not.
but one that helps is if they're young, because the name isn't established yet.
Fine.
Right?
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah,
They
so I'm-
separated when she gave birth.
So I might not be at school yet, like, or haven't had a couple of years at school yet.
I'm so glad I got married double barrel.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
I didn't, but like,
I
what a
didn't.
mouthful.
Yeah, no.
Gershfield Crawford.
Yeah.
Although Crawford's so much nicer.
It is.
Fuming.
Yeah, it literally is. Shout out, Dad.
But yeah, so you need that permission. If you don't have that permission, there are options out there.
So do you think it's quite likely to get rejected if, just say, like, for example, my kids, I would never do this, but just say hypothetical, I get remarried and I want to change my kids double barrel to my new married name.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have difficulty there.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't do it anyway. Just, yeah.
You'd have difficulty there.
Fine,
I'm
good
not
to know.
gonna
Good
say
to know. I'm not
gonna
gonna waste
say
my
it's a
time.
blanket no,
Yeah.
but that's a harder fight.
Yeah.
I understand that as well. Yeah,
I do understand that.
Yeah.
Fair.
Do that one.
Okay. Oh, I was waiting for this one. Okay. The kid's dad wants 50-50, but doesn't have beds for them and they sleep on the floor on cushions.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Cool.
Come and talk to me.
I see a lot. I
That
see you
is
do a lot of things
wild.
about parents who go for 50-50
Yeah.
when, they've not got the means to, or like their job doesn't
Their
allow it,
time.
or time and
I
that.
feel like a lot of parents go for
Yeah.
50-50
Sorry.
because they feel threatened. Yeah.
Do you think some of it's got to do with child maintenance as well?
What do you mean by feel threatened?
I feel that they feel like, well, I'm not being told when I can and can't see my kids.
So it's more a control thing?
Yeah, 100%. I see it as a control thing. So I start to advise people that I wonder if you took that control element out of it and just said a few gentle words to appease them, which is also the truth, such as, I didn't have children to do it 100% on my own. I actually did this to do it 50% with you. I didn't want to do it like this. But if we can be working towards what we both want in our child's pace at the right time, we'll get there. Just don't apply so much pressure. Not so much aggro, not so much, toxicity around it. I feel like when you take a bit of that fear away from them, the threat starts to, and I do see it as a threat.
Really?
Yeah, I do see it as a threat, because I feel like if you do not have a job that allows you to do it, if you're getting your mum to come and do it all the time, if you don't have the means to have them 50% of the time, you are seeing it as a threat.
So that's something that I wanted to ask, because I feel like we get a lot of people that maybe reach out to us and they're like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to end this marriage or relationship because I can't bear the thought of having my kids 50-50 and I know that he'll push for it. If they are in a job that cannot accommodate for them to be around, will they get 50-50 if they push for it?
Well, I can't, that's a really wide question.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I need way more details. It's not just based on the job.
It's the individual case,
It's
isn't
the
it?
individual case, absolutely. But I tell you that fear is so real.
Yeah.
I hear it. Parents like to say it to scare you to not leave. But the truth is that if they are not doing even 5% when you're together, they're not doing it when you separate.
Yeah, so I feel like I've said that to a lot of people. I've sort of said, and this could be so wrong, don't sort of look at like what the children are used to. And
Yes.
if 80% of the time they've always been with the
Yes.
mum, dad's at work every day.
It's called status quo.
Yeah.
So they look at the status quo, they see what the care arrangements are to start with, and they go from there. Okay, and then they look at a 7-point welfare checklist to determine what is in the best interest of the children, and that 7-point checklist includes, but isn't limited to, wishes and feelings of the children, their sex, age, education.
When
needs.
is that taken into account?
So wishes and feelings tends to be taken into account around 11 plus.
Yeah.
However, if we've got safeguarding issues, so if we've had abuse, illicit substances, significant alcohol consumption, issues that would require...
Would gambling be involved in that?
Yes, it would. And something that would require an in-depth assessment, then the wishes and feelings of the children will be taken into consideration, even at 4 years old. Is it going to be, benchmarked as, right, exactly whatever that 4-year-old wants, he gets? Potentially not, but they'll be heard.
I think that is the scary thing. And I do also sometimes think that even if and when like the courts or whoever grants the 50-50, sometimes the other parent can't always adhere to that. And when in the reality of having to navigate it,
I always say
more.
that if you don't have a safe co-parent and the court have granted them whatever, you are always, because as the safe co-parent, as the prime, you are the primary, right? You are the default. You are always going to be on your toes when it comes. Do you know what? Even if they have every other weekend, you are always going to be on your toes when it comes to how they behave, how they act, how they parent. And there's a radically accepting that as well, that you can't eradicate them from your child's life. Maybe you don't even want to eradicate them from your child's life, but you are going, it's going to be another part of your job and part of your parenting to process that you are always going to be on your toes and on that protective mode.
I think the most frustrating part for me is when you hear, for me, the men that push for 50-50, but you know that when they've got them, that 50% of the time, majority of the time, they'll be with his parents.
that was
he's at work.
another question. That was one of the questions there.
Does that not hold any firm?
Here you go. Yeah, read the next question.
It says, what do I do if my ex is making his mum fulfill court-ordered time when I can reasonably do it?
Okay, so if I have a situation whereby that's happening, before, when I'm in court, I might want to put recitals or orders in place which state that I'm first right of refusal. Okay?
Yes.
So
What's that mean?
Yeah, so basically that you ask me
Before you ask anyone
give
else.
the children to somebody else for maybe if you're going to be away for
Understand.
24 hours
Yeah.
or more than 7 hours
Yeah.
or something like that, you ask me first rather than somebody else. Say for in this situation we don't have that and we've had the court order and now he's giving all responsibility to grandmother. Obviously that is not okay. There has to be a reasonable acceptance that of time being spent with grandparents or a partner or whatever, because his time also allocates for time to be spent with the paternal side of the family, right? However, if I've got a situation where this is all the time happening, I'm going to try to engage him in a conversation. I'm going to probably send him a solicitor's letter. I'm going to invite him to mediation. I'm going to make an application to vary the order, okay? Because you're not caring for the child for the entirety of the time that you're meant to be having them. Their mother is available. I will do it, and I will make them available to grandmother for specific times for her to have contact. All that time can just be on your time, which is reduced. That's it.
Yeah. So do you think that if that is known from the start before anything is put in place, they're unlikely to get the 50-50?
Absolutely, because I'm in proceedings with you. I'm not in proceedings with your mother or your partner.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the argument that I'm going to be presenting here.
Does that stand strongly?
Well, if I've got evidence that you do not have a job that allows you to be present, then who are you intending to care for our children?
Okay, fine. So that's what I wanted to know, because I feel like that although generic, that can he have 50-50 if he's not ever going to be around? The simple answer is probably no.
No.
Okay, that's...
No.
And just make sure you've got the evidence.
Have quality contact. I'm telling you, of course you can have time with the children. Make that quality time with them. I want quality time with them too. There's already a division now.
Sometimes it's just the spite, isn't it? To take them away, it's the control.
And I feel like it's the maintenance, avoiding the maintenance.
I do think a lot of people do it for
A lot of people
maintenance.
do that. A lot of people do that.
Oy, oy, oy.
But you know, I should warn that a lot of people do that, but I can't lead with that argument.
I understand.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not the primary focus.
yeah. That cannot be my primary focus. We need to look at other things.
Even though we know. Any tips for co-parenting with a narcissist? Constant backlash, texts, etc. Plays victim always.
Follow Legally Nick. It's like my entire page is dedicated to that. I mean, again, it's a huge question, and I go on my page. I do go into the lots of different scenarios and situations whereby you need to protect yourself. But I'll put it this simply: you can't co-parent with a narcissist. You cannot co-parent with a counter-parent. And once you radically accept that, and that you can only really parallel parent, and you need to focus on your parenting during your time, that will bring you a big breath. Okay,
Peace. Yeah.
right. After that, there are certain things that you can put in place in order to protect and boundary. One of those things might be a court order. Okay, so it might be, this is where our drop-offs and pickups are going to be, so I don't have to see you, or I'm protected when I see you so that you're not coming to my house, something like that. That we have defined times, that there's going to be pickups at the school gates rather than having to see you directly, that we're going to communicate via a parenting app, that I can block you off of everything else. So, I mean, it's vast, right? But I think we start off with that question was, how do I co-parent with a narcissist? You can't.
We need to accept that.
You need to accept that. You don't.
It is. That's it, isn't it? I think, like, even what I was just saying at the beginning and losing that control, not even the fact that I co-parent with a narcissist, it is sometimes actually doing the work yourself, and that acceptance will give you more peace than trying to constantly battle with someone that just cannot see
I always say, like, pick your battles. Yeah. Pick your battles. Decide what hill that you're prepared to die on. If you're prepared to die on that hill, come and talk to me, and we'll see what we can do to help you with that situation. Otherwise,
it's the boundaries, isn't it? It's setting those certain things you're willing to do. I know for me, like, we only contact each other via a parenting app, and that has changed the game for me, because I know you can't delete the messages.
Yeah.
Everything's
You're
there.
accountable
You're accountable for it. It's
to
all
what's
there.
being said, yeah.
Same with like having the times, places. I find that really helpful in terms of even just like managing expectations.
What's the name of the
app? App Close.
Yeah.
App Close. It's
Is
free.
that what you would?
App Close, My Family Wizard,
We have like a
Talking
calendar on it,
Parents.
so you know there's certain dates. Like it's nothing can be argued. There's no like using things against each other. It's there. It's all in one place. Like you know, you've got something coming up, you put it on there, and it's a mutual place. I find that really, really helpful.
Truly learning what to respond to as well, I think is very important.
Yeah, we speak about that quite a lot.
or
Even just
even
taking
not-
the time
Yeah,
to
stepping back.
Yeah.
step back, like process.
There's like empowerment in your silence. You know,
Definitely.
truly.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like no reply is
loud
better.
enough.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna finish off with one last question. We have so many. We're obviously just gonna have to
Guys,
get you back
if we didn't
on.
answer your questions today, please just go and follow Nick. You can scroll through her page. I guarantee there'll be something there that's going to be helpful to you.
Okay. How to deal with the co-parent telling my son bad things or lies about me and it is affecting him.
Okay, I get this a lot. This is channels back to always being on your toes, because this isn't something that will likely ever change. So I really encourage parents to teach their children about critical thinking, that what they hear from their other parent, not just their other parent, from their friends, from their future boyfriends and girlfriends, that they don't have to, if their gut is telling them that something's not right about that, to listen to it and to question it.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and there are some really good books out there to help children specifically. There's one book in particular called The Sky is Red. You can get it off Amazon. It's a children's book just about a child that is constantly told that the sky is red when he knows the sky is blue.
Okay, interesting.
I love that.
Yeah. So read that to your children. Go through it. If they directly come to you and say, "Well, Daddy says this about you," okay, that's not very kind. Do you think that? Do you think that's something I would do? Do you think that's something that I would think or I'd be capable of doing? Has Mummy ever done that to you? No. Well, why would Daddy say it then? I don't know why Daddy would say it, but I just want you to understand, and I want you to question whether you think that's something that I would do.
That's really
I've
interesting.
had some situations, one of which when my kids came home from their dad, they were told not to tell me something that had happened because they knew I wouldn't be happy with it. And Rome, being 4, told me.
Of course.
And when he did, Ivy started crying, saying, "No, you're going to get Daddy in trouble." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said that he told us
Not
that
to
we
say.
couldn't tell you, otherwise we're gonna lose our iPads. And I dealt with it in quite a similar way. When you're put on the spot there, you almost like don't know what to do, because you know you want to sort of be like, "He's a fucking liar! You're lying! Well, you're a liar! You're a liar!" I was just like, because she was so upset, I was like, right, first of all, we all need to calm down. No one's getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And I was almost sort of trying to
Hold
emphasise,
my
like,
poodle.
literally, hold my poodle. This is a safe space, and what we all need to be aware of is us 4 together. We can always be honest with each other and always tell the truth,
Yeah.
and no one's going to get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
I always tell them all the time how much I don't like it if anyone lies,
Yeah.
and being honest is the best way.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I did in regards to that.
That's perfect. I'll have it over silly things like, "Don't tell Mummy that we had these sweeties at 12 o'clock at night."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Bro, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
You can tell me."
Yeah. So I think it's just, I think I just want to encourage them like they can tell their mum anything.
Absolutely.
And obviously I went fucking psycho at him, but they're not going to know that.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I'm not going to say anything to him. Like, this is a safe space. Like, what you tell me stays here. I mean, I completely lied. Podcast.
He got the smack down.
But
we don't lie.
Be honest with your kids.
Be honest with your kids. Oh no, the park is shut today. But no, that was really, really interesting. That was amazing. Like, I feel
I
like
could
I've
talk for hours.
I know. I feel like I've learned so much already. That
Same.
was like really
Thank you.
knowledgeable.
I'm sure anyone
enlightening.
listening, you've learned something today. So
I know
we
I
certainly
have.
Yeah.
We always end every episode with an affirmation of the week.
Yeah.
So do you have anything, whether it's like one piece of advice or something that people can take away, something positive that they can repeat to themselves or, you know, hold on to if they're going through something really tough? What would be your affirmation of the week?
I would say that whatever you've been through is both the marking and the making of you.
Love.
There's who you were before the trauma and there's who you are after. And who you are after, even though you can't see it at the beginning because you're just consumed, but who you are after is the most beautiful, compassionate, empathetic.
Like, seriously. Cut me deep.
But it's true because I feel like when you go through the trauma at the beginning, you hate yourself, you hate who you've become, you hate how bitter, hurt, angry you are. And then when you go through the healing, it's become the marking and the making of you. It literally
relate to that
has.
so
Like,
much.
it just, you go out and you help other people, you become more compassionate, you listen harder to people. Yeah, so
That was amazing. Thank you. Just set Carly off. Fabulous.
I'm a very emotional person.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
guys. We hope you
much.
loved it. Make sure you share it.
There must be someone you know who could really benefit from listening. Go and even put it in your
Absolutely.
group chat, your WhatsApps, whatever it is.
And thank you so much. First ever
you.
guest.
See you next week, guys.